Alright, today we are going to learn how to make a Halloween flyer in Adobe Photoshop CS6. Of course, this will work in CS5, CS4, CS3, CS2, and CS, probably even Photoshop 7 as well. First thing you want to do, we're going to make a quarter page flyer. The dimensions for the quarter page flyer is 4.25 inches by 6.25 inches. You can switch this and go, length a long way or height the long way, whichever one you want to do it. The resolution will be set at 300. That's if you plan on getting your flyer printed and sent off and, so you can pass it out and stuff like that. It'll be 300 resolution for print. If it's just going to be web, then 72 DPI will do just fine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, it's a Halloween flyer. I would presume that it should be dark colored theme. So I'll start with a black canvas instead of a white one. What I did was just hit Apple I or Control I to invert the background color. I already have a couple images I dug up. You could just Google search Halloween images. Officialpsds.com is a good place to search if you want to get some photos that are already cropped out for you. Otherwise, you could just search the internet and find some, some royalty-free ones if you plan on making some money off this design, or you could just use some other designs if it's just for promo use only, or some other images, I would say. Okay, so I kind of got mapped out what color schemes I want to use. I think I'm going to go with black and lime green and maybe an orange or a yellow. Those seem like some Halloween colors to me. I like this mask. It's kind of creepy. I'm going to start off with this. I shrunk it down a little bit, just hitting Apple T for free transform. And just because it's just a sample flyer, I'm just going to call it Halloween Party. So, how do I want to use this? I don't know. I'll put that there for now. We're going to use some type of text. I don't know what yet. Shrink this down so we can see that better. Halloween. It's kind of boring. I want something a little grungy. When I think of Halloween, I think of maybe something that's grungy, dirty, grimy, bloody. Things like this come to mind. You know what I mean? This is pretty dope, I think. There's an interesting tool up here where you can warp the text and make it arch and do all different types of things. I think I want to go with the arch. Yeah, that looks cool. Might want to do all caps too. Yes. Maybe put party in this font instead of Halloween. I'm just playing around right now. I don't know exactly what I want to do. I just have a general idea, color schemes and stuff. Like I said, I'm probably going to use a lime green. When it comes to flyer designs, color schemes are everything. A good thing to do is contrasting colors, bright, super bright with super dark, stuff like that. Or if you can't think of a color scheme, you can always think sports teams. They have pretty good color schemes going on, Chicago Bulls or Detroit Lions, or sports colors seem to mesh pretty well, and that goes for NFL, NBA, or any sports leagues. I'm gonna bring the text in a little bit closer. My character window, and with the character window, you can squeeze the letters closer together, take away less space in between the characters. You can spread it out more. I'm gonna go like this. You can actually put them on different baselines too. So I'm gonna lower the baseline for every other character, just to give it a little bit of funk. You know what I mean? And we still want this to kind of be a little close. And I just hit Apple J to duplicate the layer just to keep the same style and stuff. It's just faster that way. Let's call this the costume. Yeah, costume for the Gula. I don't think of a name. I don't know. Let's do like that's kind of cool. Maybe we'll change it later. I don't know yet. And I like to play with the layer styles. I just double clicked on the layer to get the layer styles to pull up. You saw me put like the gradient overlay on the text earlier. That's one of my favorite ones to use. I'm gonna put a drop shadow on here, a hard one though, with no shadow or anything, but I'm gonna make it this lime green color. I think that looks cool. And then I'll take the party, give it a similar drop shadow, and make it this pink color. So the colors mesh together a little bit cooler. Okay, so let's see, let's get a date and stuff on here. Let's say it's October. Let's say it's on October 31st. I would like to use a more simple font for my date. I like the date and the address to be in a pretty simple font, just so it can, be easily read and there's no discrepancies. Okay, let's do and you could just click like this superscript key, and it'll make that like ST really small up top. Let's do Oct instead of October, just to save space. And let's just say, for instance, October 31st is on a Friday this year. I'm not sure if it is, but whatever. I want to just swap them, get a little creative with the text. And I think we'll just stick to this pink, green, and black sort of thing. Okay. Let's call it the Ghouls and Goblins Hollow Costume Party. Whatever. Okay. Now we can get a little bit more creative with this text as well, like maybe play with the weights and stuff. See, the thing with flyers, you can keep it fairly simple with fonts and stuff, but when you play with the text weights, it just adds like that extra element. It makes it look like you did a lot more than what you actually did. Just little small details matter, you know what I mean? Like color scheme details and like font weights and stuff like that. Small details matter. Okay, we'll do it like that. I think that looks pretty cool. And then we'll just keep like this guy here. Maybe we'll enlarge him actually, put him in the background or something. I don't know what I want to do with this guy just yet. So like maybe I'll do like okay, here, let's try this. I'm gonna double click on this to bring up my layer styles and put a gradient on it. I want it to be like a radial gradient. Let's lower the opacity some so it's not too distracting. And then we want to take like this guy right here, and if we set it to overlay, it'll create like a cool faded out effect, you know what I mean? So it's there, but it's like it's not overbearing or anything like that. So we'll put like a couple of them on here just to serve as like a texture purpose. Maybe I'll make this one different color. Okay, Friday, October 31st, 2013, and then let's say like club location. And then address would naturally go up underneath it, and a smaller, like less significant font. This is just my style of how I do the flyers. I mean, you can implement your own elements and styles of how you do it, but this is what works for me. I think I'll just put that on white. That looks cool. Club location, address, okay. And then like flyers typically have things like free drinks before 12 or I would make free drinks stand out even more because people like free drinks. So like things that people enjoy about a party, you want those things to stand out. So this is like pretty important. It doesn't have to be that big, but yeah. Okay. Now let's just make this a little bigger. Just for the sake of not having any real information to put on a flyer. Okay. Free entry with costume. I'll put that on there. And this can just stay like this font right here. It'll be cool. And this lime green font. Free entry with costume. Free drinks before 12. Okay, what type of other things do you typically see on a flyer? You want the date and the location to be in a nice spot. Free drinks before 12. Free entry with costume. $10 without costume. The price goes on flyers generally, especially for party flyers. A lot of people want to know what they're going to pay before they get there. Let's say $10 without costume. But something like this wouldn't be broadcasted too loudly, so we'll just do like a super light, thin font. Like that. That's fine. And even in white, it'll be dope. Okay. I got some other little elements to add to it that I found online, like this zombie guy. I think he looks cool. He doesn't have to be so big. And we want him to blend in a little bit more, so I'll add like some type of shadowing to him. And what I did was just go to the gradient and then go to multiply. When you set layers to multiply, it gets rid of the light color. So like if there's a white in there, it'll take the white out completely. When you set it to screen, it does just the opposite. So that's just a cool tip to know about, like if you want to shade your stuff a certain way. And then you can play with the scale here to strengthen or fade out the shadow. So I'm gonna do that. And then parties have stuff to like attract the eye, like the scariest party, or you know, best costume wins this. Let me see. I want to put like a seal on here. I believe they have it in CS6, but not the other ones. Come on, where are you? Oh, found you. And they also had, like, you can just Google seal sticker and the shape will pop up. I want it to be yeah, like that. That's cool. Except, of course, we're gonna stick to our color scheme. All right, best costume. We'll put this in black just because it'll be more legible that way. Wins. Let's say $200. I want to spread it out a little bit like that, so we'll do it like this. Best costume wins $200. I'm not feeling this font. Choose one of the more thin. There we go. Let's say Roman. Bold. That's cool right there. I want the $200 to be huge though. Like, whoa, $200. Wow, oh my freaking God. Can win $200. So yeah, we'll stick that out like that. Maybe we'll even change the color of the $200. Yes, we'll do that, and we'll actually make it black face. It doesn't have to be that big. That's pretty good right there. And then like contact information, call, blah, 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 for more info. I would presume that that goes after this. Like that. Typically, party flyers have things such as the age. Age is 8. Okay, I'll put 18 to chill. 21 to spill. Which means, 18 and up for entry, 21 and up for alcohol. So that's pretty much the gist of it. I want these to stand out a little more. And then, Halloween stuff has that grungy feel. This is a little too clean, maybe. So I'm gonna go through my brushes here. And you can, like I said, all of my resources, I've found them all on Google. DeviantArt is a good place to look for Photoshop brushes. A great place, actually. Oh man, too many files. But here we go. So, I mean, it's a Halloween flyer. We want to stick to that feel, that theme. I got like spider web brushes. There's all type of brushes you could, whatever you could think of. Just Google it, type Photoshop brush at the end of it, and they probably have it for you. It's a little too. Okay, we'll stick it right there, and we'll enlarge it a little bit. Now I don't want it to be overbearing like that, so I'll probably just set it to. And this is me hitting Apple, and the bracket on the left, the key right next to the P button, it shifts the layers. When you hold Control and hit the brackets, it shifts the layers. I don't like that still. Maybe you'll do that. Bring the opacity down. You want to just play with it until you find something that you like. I don't want it to be too overbearing. I think that's cool there. And then I want to add a new layer and put like some more brushes on here. Some spider web stuff. That's a little too small. Give me a nice medium. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Got like our little extra grungy stuff going on. Oh, also, if you want to get even more Halloweenish with it, you can go to like some, they have blood brushes, you know, that leave like splatters. Now blood is like kind of a dark red color, so we just add a new layer, and then of course just blop it somewhere. I think that's cool right there. Sometimes I generally set the blood to multiply, but in this case it won't stand out how I want it to, so I'm not gonna do that. Now, my typical style with flyers and CD art, I like things to flare. So we're gonna add some flares to it. And this is a fairly simple trick. I just kind of click on a soft brush, enlarge it to my taste, and then click, make a new layer, change the color to the text or whatever it is that you want to be shiny, and then we're gonna click on that like that, and you see it gives us that right there. But if we set it to screen, it's a little easier to see through, and it looks a lot cooler that way. So we're gonna do that with the lime green and also with the pink. See how the pink looks too? It's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. We'll make a new layer and then do the pink too. So I'll do it like right there. It just, you know, gives the design that extra pop that makes it look a little more cool. Gives it that glow. And actually, I want to trace this out and maybe white or something. That'll make that stand out a little more too, look a little cooler. The black looks dope, but let's see how the white looks. And I don't know about the white guys. I don't know. White. Maybe with the inner shadow. No. Well, you see the different types of options you can do to customize it to your liking. It's really interesting to see what people can come up with. I'll just do it with a darker green. You can't really see it, but it's fine. Yeah, that's dope. Okay. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I could keep going with it and keep making, you know, adding different elements to it. I think maybe like a smoke texture will look nice on this. Smoke textures are fairly easy to find. It's just you Google smoke textures, and you get a lot of them in Google Images. These give it that, that foggy Halloweenish aura to it that you see in movies and stuff like that. In fact, this one here is probably perfect. It's from a DeviantArt link, so shout out to whoever this belongs to. I'm just gonna copy it and paste it on here just to show for an example as to how it could look. And we're gonna enlarge it some. Screen. See, it gives it that that spooky extra feel. I think I wanted to go over him. Now, you see that hard line we have right here? We want to get rid of that, so we're gonna take the layer with the smoke on it and add a layer mask to it. Now we're gonna take the layer mask and then trace over with the gradient. You want to make sure your gradient is black to transparent. Now we're gonna just trace that, pull it down a little bit, and it fades that hard edge away. And then I actually want to do it like on the edges, period, just to, I don't want it to be that strong. But yeah, and this is our flyer. Ghouls and Goblins costume party. Best costume wins $200. Friday, October 31st, 2013. At club location and address. Free drinks before 12. Must be 18 to chill. 21 to spill. Free entry with costume. $10 without costume. Call 555-5555 for more info. And that's that. Any questions, comments? If I may have made I might have done something to this flyer and not mention it just by, moving so fast and everything being kind of automatic to me. So if you got any questions or comments, you can leave them below in the YouTube comments. I will get to them at my earliest convenience and answer them to my best of my ability. Please subscribe to my page, and please also check out www.photoshopdiamonds.com. You can also download this PSD at photoshopdiamonds.com to reuse for whatever you want to use for, and to see in detail how I broke this down. Thanks for watching. Peace.